how to become a money magnet. Anybody want to make more money, right? I know a little bit about being a money magnet, okay? And you need to, it all starts with the way you think. You guys make what you make because of the way you think, because of your beliefs. So I want to talk about that this morning a little bit. Then we're going to, first of all, this is from Beyond Positive Thinking. Let me just tell you something, man. What I know now, I've read so many books, over 1,000 books over the last 20 odd years, right? If I were starting over today knowing what I know now, I'd blow out every other book, and all I'd be teaching from is 177 Secrets of the World Class and Beyond Positive Thinking. I would be going over this stuff every week. I would be making sure my base shop was reading this stuff. I would make sure, you know why? Because if you got people thinking this way, they would be thinking exactly like Hector Lamarck, and if they start thinking like Hector Lamarck, they're going to start getting results like Hector Lamarck. If they start getting results like Hector Lamarck, they're going to become wealthy. Okay? Because this is compiled into 20 years of reading for me. 2 books, the best by far. Both of them are available on our website, www.hectorlamarck.com, both books. But I'm just telling you, man, it's unbelievable what's happening right now. And I think we've talked about a little bit about that. Everybody that's really got that done, I know for sure that Jatinder and Sadhguru Bajaj, they've really changed their life, and a bunch of other people. But let me just tell you what he said. The real meaning of faith. What this all boils down to is having the ability to accomplish tasks that others find difficult or impossible. That's what faith. How many goals have you set based on what was apparent, on what you can see, what you have, and what you think is realistic? Don't base your goals on what you have or what you've done, but on what you want and where you ultimately want to go. What most people are doing all the time is they're basing their goals based on what they've done in the past. Well, what you've done in the past, you've done on very limited awareness. Okay? Your awareness level was low in the past, so if you go based on what you did in the past, then you're never going to do anything significant. You got to be thinking about what you want. I've been sending a lot of messages out about this recently, okay? The number one most important thing that you're ever going to do in your primary career is to figure out what it is you want, okay? And I don't mean, I got a guy called me and says, I want to have $1 million in cash, and I want to be financially independent, and I want to get out of the field. Now, that's not what you want. Right? You don't want money. That's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants money. People want what money allows them to have, but they don't want money. Right? Right? You don't even want, that new car that you guys have been thinking about getting that you'd love to have, right? You don't want the car. You want the way the car makes you feel. You don't want the car. You want, when you buy a car, right, I got a CL55. I used to have a Lexus, one of those SUV Lexus, the nice one, the big one, right? Which is just not me. She's damn slow, right? And so I had one of those. It's a beautiful car, great car. Nothing wrong with the car, right? But it wasn't me. It didn't make me feel good. You know what I mean? It was just like a functional car, and you know why I bought it. And so I'm starting thinking, I want a CL55. I want a really fast car that's really comfortable, that's really hot, but right? And so I started thinking about that. What I started doing, where I started going on the internet, I'm looking on eBay, is there any of them for sale? Can I get a deal on one? I'm talking about it. Finally, Jan just goes, would you stop talking about that car? I said, well, I'll figure it out. So she calls the dealership, and anyway, what happened, she ends up finding out I could trade my car in, and it won't cost me a penny. I can get the car I want. So she takes care of the whole thing. The next day, the car's in my driveway. I don't even have to leave my house. Right? Wow, yeah, see, you think that's an accident, right? But I created that because I was focused on what I wanted, and I was relentless about it, right? And boom, it's there. Don't even have to leave my house. They even came, picked up my car, took it away, everything. I didn't have to do anything. In fact, anything at all. Jan did all of it. So you think that's lucky. You think, but I know what it is. I made that happen. And you don't understand that you guys do that every day yourself as well, except you do it unconsciously. What the goal is with this books is to get you to start doing it on purpose. Right? That's the whole point here of this whole exercise, to get you to start doing it on purpose. What we're talking about here can be summed up in one word: faith. Faith is not something religious or esoteric. It is a sound psychological and physiological fact. When you understand how the brain-mind function together, you know that faith, this is what faith is. which is believing before seeing, is a natural process of creation. You can be faithful about all kinds of... Look, do you have faith that the sun's going to come up tomorrow? Yeah, that's not religious, right? That's just, you have faith it's going to happen, right? In other words, it's a believing before seeing it. You haven't seen that the sun's coming up tomorrow, but you have faith it's going to happen. You with me right here? That's what it is, faith. If you're building a Primerica business, you have to have faith that if you do all the right things and you start focusing on what you want and you start becoming a magnet to people, that those people will come into your life. It'll start happening. All right? I mean, I know for sure there was a time where all of us struggled. I know Gary and Pat, there's times when you struggled in Primerica, everything didn't look good. But guess what? The reason you're here is you had faith that that could change, it could turn around. Otherwise, you would have quit. Right? That's it. That's it. See, what you've got to check is what is your faith level right now? Right? What's your faith level? Your faith has to do with your beliefs, you guys, what you think about. You've got to change that. All right. It says, when you understand that it is your belief or faith in your ability to create that determines your results, you are then able to go out and accomplish tasks that other people think are impossible. You simply set your sights on what you want and then allow the information that will enable you to go out and create it without stress and without effort to come through. The reality is that whatever you're looking for is at the same time looking for you. It all starts with believing before seeing. Folks, I'm going to be honest with you. In Primerica has never been hard for me. I know that's depressing to you, okay? But it has never been hard for me. I'm going to tell you why it's never been hard for me. Why it's never been work for me. I haven't felt like I've worked a day in 21 plus years. I've been in Primerica for 21 years. I have not worked one single day in 21 years. Not one. You know why? The reason is because I always knew exactly what I wanted. Always. I've always known what I wanted. Always. And I've been very clear about what I wanted, okay? And so, to me, Primerica has always been simply a vehicle to get the life I wanted. Primerica has never been my life. Not for 1 minute has Primerica been my life, okay? My life is my life. My life is my life with my wife and my children and my life, right? My life is not Primerica. Primerica is part of my life, but it is not my life. It is the tool that I get what I want in my life through. That's what it is for me. Okay, I don't know if that's sacrilegious or whatever, but it's never been my life. I've always understood its part in my life. Its part is to create my life, to allow me the vehicle, the opportunity, a way to make cash flow to create the life I have, right? When I was thinking about what I wanted, right, when I was building my Primerica business, it wasn't even like a nice house or a nice car. I wanted a certain lifestyle, right? Number one, right, I've said this before, I'll say it again because I think this is really important. And a lot of you are afraid to really talk about what you want. You're afraid of it, okay? You're afraid because you think, well, if I let everybody know what I want, or if I'm really clear about what I want, and it doesn't happen, I'm going to be depressed, or I'm going to actually have to perform and do something, or whatever your goofy thoughts are, okay? But I wanted my wife, Jan, to think I was the end all. That was huge for me, okay? That was probably, if I reduce it to that was the most important thing to me. Second was, I really wanted my kids to think I was incredible. I wanted them to want to be like me. I wanted them to think, man, I have the best dad ever, man. He's amazing. I want to be just like him, right? That was really important to me. I wanted to live as if I was on vacation all the time, right? Do you know how do you feel when you're on vacation? Don't you want to feel like that all the time? Yeah. I mean, when you get up whenever you want, you order room service, or right, you know, everything's taken care of for you. You don't really have to worry. You get up and the whole day's planned around doing exactly what you want, not what you have to. Right? That's vacation to me, right? For me, vacation, man, get up, play a round of golf early, come back, have some lunch, right? Just figure out what you're going to do the rest of the day, go to the pool, I don't know, whatever it is you like to do, right? Figure out where you're going to dinner that night, and then, maybe go to the movie, go see a concert, go see a play, go do something fun. Isn't that a great day, right? Okay, so I wanted to live like that all the time. Guess what that takes? It takes money. It takes something where you have passive income, where money's coming in all the time, even when you're not physically engaged. Right? You have to have that. Well, guess what? You can do that with Primerica. Did you guys know that? Huh? If you focus on recruiting, training, and developing people, right? But you got to know what you want. And it's the thing. Think about, when you think about what you want, I want you to think about what makes you, when you think about it, what makes you smile? What makes you feel warm in your heart, right? What is it that you really love doing? Whether it's with your family or friends or whatever, okay? What do you love doing, right? What really gets you going, okay? I was talking to one of my guys, and I said, what do you want? He says, well, I want my family to be spiritually engaged and blah, blah. I said, I understand, that's a given, right? We all know that, okay? But what do you want with your life? And what do you really love doing? When you think about it, what makes you excited? And you know what he said? He didn't even hesitate. He goes, man, you know what? I love hunting and fishing. I said, hey, that's fantastic. Where at? He goes, I could see myself having 2,000 acres where I could hunt and fish on my own property. I could build 3 or 4 cabins so that I could have my family stay with me when we wanted to, and we could have friends over or have the team over and teach them things and he started talking about what he really wanted, right? What he loved doing. That's what I'm talking about, okay? That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about, I want to have $5 million. I want to be financially independent. You don't want any of that. That's not what you really want. So the point is this, and I guarantee you, almost none of you know what that is yet. You know how I know that? Because I can see if you did, your business and your production would explode, because you would no longer see prospecting or any of the things you have to do as work. You would see all of it as part of the process to get what you really want, as opposed to work. See, you still think Primerica's work because you don't get it. I've never seen it as work. See, me coming, somebody said, well, if I had Hector's income and his money, I wouldn't have a base shop anymore. I would shut that thing down. I wouldn't do that anymore. I would just, not me. Because see, there's certain things I want in my life, and part of that is my base shop. It's part of that process. I'm so excited about my base, I can't tell you right now. I'm pretty confident I'm going to do over 50 grand in my base shop this month, and probably $2.5 million in smart, and probably, 500,000 or more in securities, and I'm probably going to make another 40 or 50 grand on my base shop this month. That's 500-600 grand on my base shop. Why would I shut that down? You know what? I have it dialed in where I come here on Tuesday night from 7 to 9:30, and from Saturday from 8 to 11. You mean for 500 or 600 grand a year, I can't come for 6 hours a week? You kidding me? Right? See what you don't get it. You don't get it. For me, this is all fun. I'm teaching right now, right? You're hearing me, right? Some of you like it, some of you don't, but I'm having fun. Okay? This is what I do for a living. This is it. This is my job. This is what I do, period. And I play golf. Okay? Hey, by the way, you don't believe in that intention stuff? Guess what my last 4 rounds were? Even, 68, even, 68. Yeah, 4 under, 8 under over the last 4 rounds. You're not a golfer, that's pretty damn good, okay? That's my best round. I shot 69 a few times, right? I shot 2 68s in a week, and 2 even pars. And those even pars, missed a couple putts, they could have been 68s. What point is, I'm telling you, I've been working on my intentions with my golf and all that stuff, because the business already is easy for me. I got that too, but the golf was hard. And you know what now? All of a sudden, golf's not hard anymore. But it's been hard for a long time. But it was all mental. It was all mental. Just like for you, it's all mental. I'd have a good round. I'd shoot 33, 34 on the front side, then I'd shoot 42 on the back, right? Because I'd go, oh my God, I'm doing so good. I have a chance to shoot under par. And then I start thinking about what I didn't want, right? I start thinking about what I didn't want. Oh, don't hit in that water. You got a good round going. Oh, don't do this. Right? And then guess what? I shoot 42 on the back. You know what I did this week? I got out of my own way. I got out of my own way. I just let it come. I let it flow. I stopped worrying about it. Guess what? Most of you are in your own way right now. You're in your own way. See, you're making 47 grand. You're going, oh my God, now I got to go in. I got to keep it going. No, you don't. Just keep working. Just be. Just let it come. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. You don't need to know how it's going to happen. Okay? None of you know how your engine works in your car. You still drive it every day, right? You don't need to know. Okay. How many of you want to become a money magnet? Anybody? All right. Okay. This is Robert Anthony. How to become a money magnet. We live in a three-dimensional world that reflects back to us the energy and words and thoughts that we put out. If you notice how people that are always like complaining and whatever, they're always having problems, right? And people that are just up and positive, very rarely, things are always going good. There's always those people that everything goes wrong, and then there's always those people that everything seems to go right for them. They seem lucky. It's not luck, it's what you're putting out, okay? Unfortunately, few of us are very well versed on how to create what we want, so it takes a little bit of time for us to learn it. But that is a blessing, because if we automatically created every thought we had, it could be pretty scary, since many of our thoughts are of what we don't want. So imagine, there's a safety thing here. The protection is that we must repeatedly think thoughts before they become reality. This prevents us from immediately creating havoc, but we still do it but over a bit longer time. So think of it like this. If you were always thinking about, if whatever you thought about instantly came into reality, right? There's an episode on what do you call that? Star Trek, right? Spock, a long time ago. They were on this planet, and what ended up happening is every time they thought about something, right? It appeared instantly. Like this guy thought about a big furry rabbit, and boom, it's right there, right? Or this guy thought about his old love he had, and boom, she's right there, right? Like instantly, okay? But the problem with that is if everything happened like that when you're thinking bad thoughts, right? That'd be awful, right? So there's a protection mechanism that you have to repeat the thoughts over and over and over before you make them real, a reality in your life. Does that make sense? So it's also the bad and the good. So sometimes you might be thinking something, you can change those thoughts, right? And it's the repetitiveness of which you think about things that creates them over time, right? Okay, this means to get what we really want, we must also repeat those thoughts of what we want repeatedly as well. And the fact that you can't create unlimited cash flow immediately is part of a greater protection for us. It allows us to learn the art of manifestation without getting hurt in the process. Our natural state is to be rich. The things that get in our way from getting rich are feelings of lack, despair, and confusion. Also, the inability to master the marketplace of life, which we're going to talk about in a second. The secret behind this is something you already know, mainly that life is energy, money is energy, and there's plenty of both. Right? There's plenty of money. There's plenty of energy. There's plenty of both of those things. It's your mind that you think there's a lack of, right? You ought to begin every day telling yourself that there's no shortage of money. In fact, there are untold trillions of dollars, yen, pounds, and so on traveling through cyberspace at any given moment in time, more than you could ever spend. So think about this. You know how, we'll talk about this in a second, but how radio waves, they actually go through all, right, like a cell phone. You know how there's a scare about the cell phones causing brain damage and all this stuff? Well, and why that they don't build houses under power lines and stuff like that? Well, the reason is because there's energy there that goes through us. There's energy going through you all the time. There's television broadcasts that go through you, literally go through your body, right? And radio and all that stuff, okay? And so in any given time, there are trillions of dollars that are going through cyberspace, right? Being transferred from one place to another. And they are literally going through your body, right? Think about that. Isn't that something? Right? What if you could just catch it? You can, okay? All right. We have been programmed by the system to believe that there are shortages and lack and that financial uncertainty is normal, but it's not. At one time, there was a belief that natural resources like gold, copper, lead, even oil was limited and finite, but it isn't. They figured out, you know, I went to play golf with this buddy of mine. It was about an hour drive, so we're driving, we're talking, and he's in the waste business. He's in the waste management business, right? Which is trash, okay? and he has a company that and he does like 8 or 9 different cities up in Northern California that he owns the companies that pick up the trash, right? Big money in that business, by the way, okay? Big money. He does very well. And we're talking, and he was telling me all about this new technology that they have now that can turn plastic like bottles and all the stuff in dumps, and they have now already figured out, they have the technology to change it back into oil for diesel fuel and stuff like that. They can do it, okay? So all these dumps where you thought there was like a limited amount of oil, it's not true, right? Just like when, you know how there's a big old gas shortage in the 70s? How many remember that, right? Okay? And all of a sudden, they came out with fuel injection, and all of a sudden the supply of oil increased by 10 or 20 times because now people were using less oil to fuel their cars. So there's all this innovation that's coming that we don't even know about, and people think there's lack, but there isn't. There's total abundance. Isn't that exciting? He said this is going to happen, and when they happen, they're just working right now. They're very close to making it so that it's really affordable and they can do it. And he said that what he's going to be able to do with all this dump sites is that'll also, these dump sites where they build up they'll last for 50, 100 years longer because they'll be able to take that stuff and recycle it like they do with paper and all this stuff right now, right? So we used to think, oh, these dump sites are going to, but you know, it's not. It's incredible what's happening, right? He says, anyways, the limits are only in our minds. They don't exist in reality. The idea is a psychological mechanism designed by those who have vested interest in controlling people and keeping them in line by making them fearful. And that's what the politicians do. That's what people do. They're always trying to keep us in line by making us afraid of what might happen, right? You know, when I quit my job to go to do Primerica full time, you know what my boss did? He took me out to lunch, and he's tried to talk me out of it because he wanted to keep me, right, because I was doing a good job. You know what he told me? There's probably a good chance you're not going to make it. It's really tough to make it in business. And he was doing everything he could to scare me into keeping my job, right, because he needed to control me. You with me? Yes. Who's doing that to you right now? Who's doing that to you right now? Yourself? People you're around? Right? Most people suffering from a limited mindset have no comprehension of just how much money there is actually available to anyone who's willing to step up and get their part of it. The catch is it's very difficult to track money if you have any negative thoughts or beliefs about it. Let me repeat this. This is very important, okay? The catch is it's very difficult to attract money if you have any negative thoughts or beliefs about it. Once you come to the understanding that money's neutral, it's neutral, right? That wealth is natural and spiritual, that it's easy to see when you have money, it doesn't deprive somebody else. So a lot of people have this belief that if I have a lot of money, then that means there's not going to be enough for these people. Who says that? Yeah, especially liberal politicians, right? Right? They're afraid. They want you to think that if these people have a lot of money, then there won't be any money left for these other people. So we got to take some of their money because there's not enough. Guess what? That's wrong. There's plenty. And you might be one of those people, right? And you're thinking, no, you're not right. There isn't enough. You shouldn't be making that kind of money. You should be giving it. No, you go make your own damn money. You give it to whoever you want, okay? All right. In fact, if you're wealthy, more often than not, you will be disposing of your money commercially, buying products and services, and charitably supporting people around you, right? As you've made more money, have you saved every penny and you're still living in the same house you were living in, guys, when you first got in Primerica, right? George, are you still living in that little apartment in Pomona right now? No. How many times have you moved? About 10 times. And every time the move is a step up, right? Bigger, nicer, which means you got to spend more money on furniture, more money on the gardener, more money on the help, right? More taxes. Never stops, right? So see this idea that when people make money, it limits, it doesn't. It actually spreads it out, right? Right? It totally does. Look at the people who are successful in Primerica. Look who they employ, the taxes we pay, the money we give to our favorite causes. You too will be able to do this when you become wealthy. Look at just here, right? In my business, in this little office, I opened this office, right? Because my business keeps growing, guess what I have to do? I have to keep on hiring people, right? It used to be Jan and me, right? Now it's Jan and me and Darlene and Astrid and Roberta and Doug and Rob. And now Dak's starting to work with me, and Christy, and the list goes on and on. And now, not only am I supporting my family, but through my business and what I've done, I'm helping, I'm the cause of the supporting of several other families besides my own. Plus, these people are all paying taxes and have nice lifestyles and stuff like that. Think about that, right? Why you want to stay small, why you have a problem with doing well is retarded. Okay, with the flick of your mind, you can begin to capture the piece of the money pie if you will, if that's what you desire. It's important to understand that money's good. Greed, on the other hand, is not good. However, there is no reason why you can't be rich and still be extremely spiritual and wonderfully generous. Right? A person with a huge heart and a compassion for everyone. Why can't you make millions and help people? Right? How about Mr. Gates? Bill Gates, right? His foundation is now approaching $20 billion that he's given away. Billion with a B. Right? How much have you given away? Okay, quantum physics says that everything exists as a wave particle, duality. This is the key factor in understanding why some people are rich and others aren't. What the wave particle duality means at the quantum level is that what we see and perceive as solid reality is not solid at all. Everything, and I do mean everything, exists as an oscillation or as an ill-defined wave of energy. This ill-defined wave of energy remains the same unformed energy until a particle is observed. Now, this is a little deep. I understand this, okay? You might have to revisit this, okay? But the fact is, everything is moving. There's nothing that's not moving. If you understand physics, how many of you have ever take a physics class? You know what I'm saying is correct, right? Okay, there's nothing that's not moving. Even this thing that looks like it's static, right? That's not moving. It is moving. Everything is. If you're able to see it at the level that it moves, right, which you can now with these atomic microscopes and stuff like that, there's nothing that's not moving, all right? It's all energy. And what happens, it's ill-defined until we observe it, and then it becomes reality. Now, this is a little deep, but just trust me, all right? If you don't believe me, get on the web, do some research. Look this stuff up, quantum physics, all right? Whereupon it changes from being somewhere in an ill-defined wave state to being solid and existent in a definable place. So money and our ideas around money and abundance follow these laws of quantum physics. In order for money to become part of your life, it has to go from an unformed, ill-defined wave state of ideas, dreaming, wishing, yearning, and vague maybes into a solid state, a coin in your pocket, a dollar in your wallet, or credit in your bank account, okay? And the way you do that is through your mind, okay? Through your mind. Now, if you can convince yourself at the very deepest level of your being that there is no lack, no unfairness, and no discrimination, that money and that making money isn't difficult, then you're going to suddenly open yourself up to greater wealth. Look, folks, making money is easy when you start thinking right? It just is. It's incredible. Haven't you ever been on an appointment, Chris, Genro, and everything was easy, and you do this like a big trade, a life insurance policy, and a loan, and you make like 7, 8, 10 grand in one sitting? Have you ever done that? Yeah. Right, George, have you ever done that? Yeah. And there are days before you had this awareness where making 10 grand, right, like when you were riding your motorcycle, didn't have a car, George, and you were managing a health spa, to make 10 grand was like 3 or 4 months of work. Remember that? Now, many times you've made that 10 grand in one sitting or one day. Right? A lot of you know what I'm talking about here, right? Where you've done that. Well, guess what? Because it's easy. It isn't hard. In your mind it's hard, but in reality, Daniel, it's not hard. Okay? All right. And this is because you've collapsed your self-denial. You flip from that insecure, ill-defined wave state that asks, where's the rent coming from, to that solid particle state of creating more money in your life. And suddenly you know where the money's coming from before it's the check's in your hand. In collapsing your ill-defined wave money dysfunction, you open up yourself to endless points of creating more wealth. The simple flick of the mind that I mentioned earlier opens the door. So the reason these books are so important is that's what it's going to help you do. Change that flick in your mind, right? That's what it's going to do. Remember, all points of abundance, points in our in our limited three-dimensional realities where money is actually delivered, where transactions take place, are solid particle states. They are not ill-defined waves. So to make the manifestation work for us, we have to put aside all our ill-defined wave ideas, our beliefs about money. We have to become centered and aligned to the solid symbols of abundance. In short, we have to know that we can create all the money we want, and then we have to follow through until we get the results that we desire. So when you look at Primerica and you finally get to the place where you know that this can deliver for you and you can create it and you really believe it, then the work's easy. Then doing it's no problem, right? The universe is large. It's full of everything you're ever going to need. So when thinking about money, instead of thinking there's not enough money, start saying there is a way to create more money in my life, and I definitely am going to find it because my mind is a money magnet. Don't you love that? My mind is a money magnet. I love that, right? Because that's just you got to have that within your channel. My mind is a money magnet. It's Primerica. You've already found it. You have only to use it to create all the cash flow in the life you desire. So that thing you're looking for, we've already got it. Right? You got it. You got the business. You got it right now. I mean, it's incredible. Sal. I had lunch with Sal and Jennifer, right? Perez. And we were having lunch, and Sal is immigrated from Mexico, right? Comes over here, working like menial jobs, right? Just trying to get by. Working with his family. His family's taking advantage of him, right? Remember that? He was telling me all this stuff, and he struggled, right? Ends up working for another company, and then they transferred down to L.A., and all kinds of things went wrong. Some things went right, but a lot of things went wrong, right? And he changed his whole belief about what could be possible. I guarantee you, when he came here, not speaking English, he never in his wildest imagination thought he was going to make $40,000 a month, right? Ever. Didn't even seem a possibility, but all of a sudden he is. And now, not only is he making 40, he can see that going to 80 or 120. Yes, he will, and he will. What's changed? His mindset, his belief, what he thinks possible has changed, radically changed, right? Take some time to see manifestations of abundance. Go to places where wealthy people hang out. Look at the symbols of their wealth and affirm that what they're experiencing is good. Yes, money can be used for evil purposes, but money in itself is neutral. It has no energy, right? So if you look at money, this is money right here. What is this? It's paper. This doesn't have any meaning other than the meaning you and I place on it. By itself, it's neutral, right? It's completely neutral. Your beliefs about it, like what your parents said, money doesn't grow on trees, we're not the kind of people that are destined to make a lot of money, right? It's hard to make money, we don't have enough money, it costs too much. You ever hear any of that stuff? Yes. What are those? Those are beliefs. That's all they are. Guess what? They're changeable. I used to think that. You know what I found out? None of it's true. There's plenty of money. Money does grow on trees. Literally. Right? And there's more than enough to go around. Right? But if you're thinking that it's that way, if you have those thoughts, those are the thoughts you have to change because they're preventing you from getting more of it. In order to align yourself with abundance, you have to look at the wealth as natural. You can't look at abundance and wealth with anger and envy when you see others earning and enjoying it. You can't become abundant or wealthy if you exclude yourself. So if you look at people and they're like obscene wealth and they're doing things and your first thought is, that's too much. That house is too much. Nobody needs a house like that. Nobody needs to drive a car like that. Nobody needs to drive a private jet. Nobody needs that. He should be giving that money to charity. That's too much. He has too much. We need to get the government involved to take more of their money. Guess what all those are? Those are all beliefs that automatically will forever prevent you from having any money, any real money. And some of you are hearing me and you're going, oh, I don't know if I like it here. I don't like what he's saying. Hey, think about what you're thinking about right now. Think about what you're thinking about. So when you see a person in a limousine who's wearing fine clothes, if you say consciously or subconsciously, what a show-off, that lifestyle's not for me, you deny your potential to create wealth. Remember, you create more of whatever you focus on. Whatever you're experiencing in your life right now is what you've been focusing on, either consciously or subconsciously, and there are no exceptions to that. I'll admit it isn't easy for most ordinary people to look at manifestations of wealth and really believe that they can have the same manifestations in their own life. Their ego is too racked with jealousy or inadequacy or judgment. All wrong feelings if you're trying to have more of it, right? People will look at a $5 million house and say, that's not my kind of house, or we'll see expensive things and say, that's far too much expensive for me. But in order to experience true abundance, you have to be able to identify with wealth. You have to be able to join in with your feelings. What I'm saying here is not vital to financial success that you can instantly visualize yourself in the presidential suite of a 5-star hotel, providing that you don't deny yourself the possibility. In other words, you can say, I don't have to stay at the Grand Hotel, but it's certainly something I could do if I wanted to. It's certainly something that I'm pleased exists, and I'm thrilled for those people who are checking into the presidential suite right now. Like, how many of you are going to the convention? Anybody going to the convention? Okay, where are you guys staying? You know what? Some of you are staying at the Budget Inn or whatever that is, right? Red Roof Inn or Hotel 6 or the Embassy Suites, or, all right? I'm staying at the Four Seasons. You know why? Because it's the best hotel in Atlanta. So, are you mad at me now? Not fair? What should I do? Should I give you some of my money I'm spending at my hotel so you can stay in a nicer hotel room? No. You go get your own. Right? Okay. In this way, you switch from the negative affirmation that money is bad or that you're a victim of poverty to the idea that money's neutral and success is natural. Acknowledging abundance is a daily action, as a daily action should be part of your action plan. So just acknowledging that abundance is part of what it's there. It's everywhere you look. Haven't you noticed that when you finally make a decision to really build your business, prospects are everywhere? Huh? They're everywhere. There's no shortage of business. You see, money is just a symbol that assists in the interaction with others. And it allows us to learn and experience integrity, fairness, and compassion. In fact, it's one way that you endorse and love you. Using money to nurture yourself is a manifestation of your acceptance of yourself. Like, you know, I used to have a problem like getting paying for a massage. Like I used to feel like, oh, it's extravagant to get a massage because, you know what? I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like having a massage. I just call up the Bighorn, spa and say, hey, listen, is so and so available? Yeah, okay, great. Can they get me in this afternoon? Yeah, 3 o'clock. Okay, great. Boom, down there, no problem. I used to wash my own car, right? You know what I do now? I call them up at Bighorn. I said, hey, listen, Andy, can you do me a favor? Can you come get my car? I need to get it washed. You know what they do? They come to my house, they pick up my car, they take it, they go wash it, they bring it back, they put it in my garage, and they bill me. I don't even leave my house. That's how I live, right? Don't you want to live like that? Yes. Okay. You see, can you really love the world if you don't include loving yourself? The answer is no. Money is with you on this spiritual journey as part of life that we have on earth in this lifetime. Look, you're not going to get away from money. I don't care what, it's just part of living. You can't not be part of it. You can't be not be associated with. I don't know if you noticed, everybody I've ever met, right, that goes to church, aren't churches always looking for more money? Haven't you noticed that yet? What do? They pass the donation thing, right? And they have these donation drives all the time, right? Part of the job of somebody that's a leader of a church is to raise money for the church. That's what they spend a lot of time doing. So if churches are trying to get more of it, how can it be bad? Huh? How? Please never forget, you are eternal and you're worth plenty even if you're dead broke at the moment. From money, we learn honesty, correctness, and generosity. We also learn the proper use of power, and sometimes we use it improperly, manipulate people, or use it to gain unfair advantage over others. Sometimes money shows us how covert and dishonest we are, or worse, it shows you how to be mean and nasty. Have you ever run across somebody that had money that was mean and nasty? Yeah. But is that the money or is that them? It's them. It's them, okay? But this is all part of learning about us. Money is a mirror. It tells us about ourselves if we choose to look in the mirror. And from this wonderful symbol, money, we learn trust, faith, and hope. We learn to believe in ourselves. We are forced to be creative, to look at the world in the eye, and then offer our energy and our product, our service, our opportunity in exchange for money. And we are asked to do that honestly, correctly, and with kindness for all. Because that's really the only way it continues to come in if you're doing that, right? If you're in Primerica and you're deceitful and you're doing things and, eventually people find out, right? And then you can't continue to grow your business. You've got to do it properly, honestly, with integrity, or else it doesn't last. Right. We all know people in Primerica that have done it improperly, right? And they're not here anymore. Okay, we have to believe money as we believe in our friends and not matter what their weakness and their faults. So expect the best from your life and expect your friend to show up right away. Think about how you felt when you just got it. Think about this, or I wrote this out, I was thinking. Think about how you felt when you just got a big check, or you're flush with money, or you're able to afford something for someone you love.
Awesome.
Huh? Awesome. How did you feel? Great. You just got a big check. You got a big bonus check. I mean, have you got your bonus check yet? Yeah. How much was it? 32 grand. How did you feel when you got, you just like go, oh, I don't want this. No. First thing you thought is awesome. Man, right? You felt great. Even when you first started working, don't you remember when you first got a job and you got your first check and you had cash and you had some money in your pocket? How did you feel? Bad? You felt excited about the potential, right? What you could do. I can go to that concert. I can buy that car. I could do this, right? My anniversary, I'm 27 years married on Friday, right? After this afternoon, right, I'm going to do lunch with, thank you very much. I'm going to do lunch with Cornegay and his team, right? But then after that, I'm going to go to downtown LA and, and I'm going to do something really nice for my wife for Friday, right? We have a great day planned, and man, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. That's good, isn't it? Right. I can do it because it makes me feel good to do that. It makes her feel good to be a recipient, right? It's all part of the whole deal. Think about, by the way, you look incredible. That money is doing you well, right? Okay. Okay. And plus, great minds think alike. See the stripes on the pants? If you look at Gary's thing, he's got little red ones and I got white ones. But man, it's very similar, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. All right. Think about, hey man, aren't you having fun? Gosh, man, would you stop having that dour look on your face? No wonder you can't attract anybody. You're so depressed all the time, right? That energy, smile a little bit. Okay. Think about that. I bet you felt great. So how can money then be bad? It isn't. It isn't. It is your thoughts about it and how you use it. Money is a tool. Like a hammer is a tool for a carpenter. It's neutral. You can build a house with a hammer and you can crack someone's skull with a hammer. Right? Okay? By itself, it is neither good or bad. We decide what it is by how we use it, don't we? Yes. It's nothing. It's just whatever you make it to be. Okay? It's important to know you're responsible for creating your own wealth. You must take these beliefs you have and use them to create cash flow. Cash flow, everyone wants cash flow. There's nothing wrong with that. The question is, how do we get more of the cash to flow to us? Let's get down to the nuts and bolts as to how you can get more cash to flow into your wallet, into your bank account. The secret of cash flow has been hidden because the solution to the problem is right in the middle. All right, now here it is. Cash flow always flows to individuals and businesses that solve problems. Right. People will always pursue a business or an individual who is able to solve their most immediate problems. Doesn't that make sense? If you were sick, would you go to an electrician? No, you'd go to a doctor. And if you're having some legal issues, would you go to the doctor? No, you'd go to an attorney. What if you need a mortgage? If you need a mortgage, you go to a mortgage banker or broker or a banker or a Primerica rep, right? You wouldn't go to Pizza Hut to get your mortgage. Right. So the key to being pursued, chased, being the most sought after person in your business, your marketplace, and the company that you work for, and having people throw money at you is to have the ability to identify pressing problems that people have, and then you become the solution. It's that simple. Right. It's that simple. Okay? So the key, all right, see, it's a fact of life. People have problems and they want solutions, don't we? Yeah. You know why people go online and they go to Google and they look for stuff? What do they look for stuff for? To solve a problem. Right. To find something they need, right? Okay, so what kind of problems do the people at your company have? Well, I have a list. They need to make more money. They need to get out of debt. They need more insurance protection. They need lower overall cost home mortgages. They need a financial game plan to reach their goals. They need to save for retirement with a decent return. They need to know how to prospect. They need to know how to overcome objections. They need to know how to present. They need to know how to set appointments. They need to know how to lead people. They need to know what to do next. They need accountability. They need someone who cares about their success. They need you. They need you. The question is, what kind of problems does your market have and what kind of solutions do you offer? Folks, you're in the middle of the, right now with Primerica, guys, you're in the middle of the fairway with a wedge in your hands. You know what that means? It means you're in the driver's seat. You're in position A. You're at the Indianapolis 500. You're driving that car and you got a 50-lap lead. You know that? With Primerica? That's what you've got. If you recognize it, you can't lose. You can only think your way to failure. If you think right, your future is going to be incredible. The only way you can lose in Primerica is you think your way to failure. Think about that. Right? If all these people are having success and you're not, what's the difference? You sell the same products, same services, have the same compensation, have the same company to follow, you have all the same resources, right? If you're here, you have the same resources, right? What's the difference? It's what you're thinking about that's the difference. That's it. That's it. You have to ask yourself the question, why would people pursue me and why should people give me their money? It's a great question. Why should people pursue me? And why should they give me their money? What are you going to do? What problem are you going to solve for them that they would want to pursue you because you can help them, right? You know, Mike does a lot of securities, right, Mike? Okay. You know, that's not your focus now, but there was a time when that was your focus. And what ended up happening, because you solved so many problems for people, you showed people how to do better, how to make more money, then they started pursuing you, right? Your clients started telling people about you, and then those people called you, or their clients called you and said, you need to go talk to John or Mary, or right? Yeah. That's what happens. They just kept coming. What if you became the person that showed people how to build successful business and make a lot of money? They'd pursue you for that too. Kurt, okay? I can tell you this, it's not because you have something to sell. That doesn't make any difference. People have stuff to sell all day long, so you can forget about that. Just because you have something to sell doesn't mean people want to buy it. If you have something to sell and your family and friends are buying it, it doesn't mean that you become wealthy selling it. More than likely, the only reason they're buying it is because you're their friend or family and they love you. But let's get real here. People don't buy things just because people have something to sell. People buy things to solve some sort of a problem they have, whether it's a serious problem or a fun problem. Right? It could be one of entertainment or finance or something else. But the bottom line is this. You need to identify and satisfy a problem in the marketplace or in the company you work for in such a unique way that your company is willing to give you a raise or that your customers are willing to buy from you because you've helped solve an immediate and pressing problem. Okay? So when you go into somebody's home, they've got problems, right? They're not saving enough for retirement. They don't have enough insurance. They want to put their kids to school, but they can't afford to. They need to make more money, right? They've got all kinds of issues. Guess what? When you start seeing yourself as the person to solve the problems and you convey that and you get them to understand and see that you're that person and they believe it, nothing can stop you. Success is there. Ask yourself, what solution can I offer people who have specific desire, specific craving, or specific yearning? Whatever solution you have, you offer people that have to crave it. They have to have an appetite for it. Let's get specific. Okay, let's say this. Here you need a starving crowd, right? You need somebody that's starving. You not only need a starving crowd, but you need one who has an appetite and craving for what you specifically offer. So it's very simple. You could have a hungry crowd of people who are starving, and you could have the best meat available, but if they're all hardcore vegans, you won't be able to sell your meat, will you? No. Because they won't want it. The good news is that Primerica, we have a starving crowd who wants and needs the food we have to offer. Look, retirement, education for children, financial security. They want reduced stress. They want elimination of debt. They want elimination of fear of the future. They want more income. Look, did you guys hear the Get the Go Solo that they're raising on the credit cards, right, from 2% to 4%? Somebody that has a $5,000 balance on a credit card now, the minimum payment at 2% is $100 a month. It's going to go to 4%, which is $200 a month. Most people have multiple cards. What's going to happen is all of a sudden, people are going to have, their budget's going to have to go up like by 4, 5, 6, $1,000 in some cases or more. Our solutions for smart now are even more powerful than they've ever been. Closing a smart sale is going to be like shooting ducks in a barrel, man. When you can save people $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000, right? My gosh, are they going to be feeling pain when that happens? Guess, do they have a problem? Yes, guess what? You're the solution. It's going to be incredible, okay? Once in Primerica, representatives have their own set of needs they're starving for. Leadership, an inspiring example, coaching how to succeed at Primerica, teaching how the products work, teaching how to present and sell our products, accountability, mentorship, caring. Look, people are starving for that. I got people calling me from all over the country all the time, wanting help. Could you help me with this? I have this issue. I have this objection. I've got this. How would you do this? I got people calling me. I get 20, 40, 50 calls a day from people starving for help because their upline's not doing it. The only reason you're making the money you are now is that you have not made yourself overqualified for your position by solving your company or client's problems. You understand? That's why you're not making the money you want to make. You may resist this idea, but it's the truth. You're getting paid what you're worth to your company, whether you agree with it or not. If you run a business, you need to know and identify the specific problems in your marketplace. You must be very specific. We already know what those are. The key to massive wealth is you need to make your solution or the answer to your problem greater than your promise. Let me repeat that. This is huge, okay? This is very, very big, okay? The key to massive wealth is you need to make your solution or the answer to their problem greater than your promise. My goal every month is when I do this meeting that I exceed your expectations. I want you to go away from this meeting going, oh my God, how does he keep coming up with this stuff, man? That's unbelievable. That's my goal, to exceed your expectations. Right, Rick? Right? And hopefully I'm succeeding at that right now. Maybe I'm getting you to think and see, right? That is not an accident. That is a focus of mine. Is that your focus this Saturday? To exceed everyone's expectations? Is that your focus when you sit with a client? To exceed their expectations? To do more, to give more than they possibly thought they could actually get from you? Imagine when you do that, what will happen? Oh my gosh, unbelievable, right? All you need to do is make your solution greater than your promises. Many companies out there advertise great things about their product or their service. People put all these superlatives on their resumes, then they get hired, or someone retains their services or buys their products and it underperforms, or they underperform. The person who purchased the product or service feels let down, or even worse, cheated. Why? Because they didn't make the solution bigger than the promise. Have you ever had that? When you bought a product and they say, oh yeah, this will work. It's going to clean that spot. It's going to do this or that. And you take it home and the damn thing doesn't work like they said, right? So what do? You want to go back and call your friends and neighbors to go do business with those people? No, right? But if you've ever been, I like to eat out a lot, right? So when I go and I eat at a restaurant and it exceeds my expectation, the service is better, the food's better than I possibly thought it could, guess what? Boom, I'm back there. That's a regular haunt of mine now. I'm there, right? And I'm telling everybody about it. Now, is that the way your team feels about you and your clients feel about you? Even if you sell yourself like crazy, your goal must always be to ensure that those big promises you're making about your product or service or yourself is nothing compared to the results you can deliver. Right? I just tell you, this is what happened to me just recently. Because I'm thinking I got to get wider, I got to get my base shop going. And you know what happened, right? I got this new young guy named Phil, right? Phil's right over there. Raise your hand, Phil, right? That's Phil. Phil is from Texas. Phil heard about me, right? And what Phil did, right, is because he knew what he was going to get by being involved with me, he ends up leaving his home in Dallas, right, driving out here, gives up his life there to be in my base shop, to be direct to me. See, a lot of you think that's lucky. No, sorry, it's not luck. And you know what? When he came out here, have I exceeded your expectations, Phil? Yeah. Absolutely, right? Because everybody there was telling him I was retired, right? So, like some of you tell everybody, Hector's retired. You don't want to work with him. He doesn't work anymore. All right, we'll see. Okay, love it. Okay, you know it's really important to have people come to you again and again, especially people you recruit, right? Because having people buy from you just once or having a recruit make just one sale just once will put money in your pocket, but it won't create wealth, will it? No. In fact, I'll repeat that. Having people buy from you just once or having a recruit make just one sale with you will put money in your pocket, but it won't create wealth. You create wealth by having people come back again and again and again, over and over with such a high level of overwhelming satisfaction that they're bursting at the seams, wanting to give you more money for new problems that they have. On top of that, they will start to send others to you to solve their problems, and that is a key to permanent and lasting wealth. Define problems, present solutions. You don't necessarily have to present solutions of your own. You can also present solutions as a third party. You can use my stuff, or you can use other people's solutions to problems. It doesn't matter to the people as long as their problems are solved. All the stuff I share, I've taken from Tom Hopkins and Robert Anthony and all this stuff, right? They're not necessarily my solutions. But it doesn't matter, right? To you, what does it matter? As long as you get what you need. Correct? Okay? If you solve small problems, you'll make small money. If you solve big problems, you'll make big money. Financial freedom, making more money, and getting debt-free, and retirement is a big problem for people. You have the solution to some big problems, which means you have the ability to make big money. Isn't that what you guys want? Yes. Okay, helping people with their long-distance phone service, or vitamins solves a problem, but it's not a big problem. So it's not going to command the same price as financial freedom or how to make money, because the solution, the end result of making money, is more valuable to the user, the client. Wouldn't you agree with that? Yes. Much more valuable. That's why this thing works. That's why this Primerica opportunity works, is because there's a lot of things you could sell out there. There's a lot of things you can do. But if you get in, like most direct selling businesses, there's no money in them, right? You have to sell, like if you're selling, like some guy that was doing some painting at my house is into like 2 or 3 multi-level things, and he's got all these products he's trying to sell to Jan, right? And she bought some, I don't know what it is, some stuff you drink that's supposed to cure everything that possibly you'd have, right? And I said, she buys a case. There's 4 bottles in a case, and it's like $100 or something like that. And I said, what could he make on that? On $100. I mean, 25%? Maybe he makes $25 on 100, right? And that thing lasts like 3 months or whatever, 4 months, that bottle of that stuff, right? And so how many of those does he have to sell to make any money? You know, he's got to find those clients that will spend $100 for this stuff. Most people wouldn't even spend $100 for this stuff, right? It's just this red drink stuff, right? So most businesses, there's no money in them, right? But in our business, man, there is big money. There's big money. You can go sit down with a client tonight. Some of you are going to sit down with clients tonight. There's somebody in this room that's going to make 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 grand tonight on an appointment, right? Who of you have something lined up that could happen, right? So there's a bunch of you, right? You're going to make money tonight. And then, you know what? I'm probably going to make 15 or 20 grand tonight. Cash flow to you. Cash flow to you. The cash flows to you not because you have a great product, not because someone tells you this is a ground floor opportunity or that this industry is booming, not because you're excited or in love with your product or service, but because it solves a real problem that's causing pain that people want relieved or pleasure they want to gain. And here's something else that's great about this. If you're into sales or marketing, one of the first things that you can learn, the question you have to answer is what's in it for them. Guess what? The answer of what's in it for them is already answered, right? With us, it's already answered. We already know what's in it for them. Financial freedom, a plan, less stress in their life, all kinds of stuff. We have the answer already, okay? It's going to bring them pleasure, taking them closer to what they want, or move them away from pain, further away from what they don't want, because these are the only 2 reasons anyone buys anything. This is why people buy things, right? Either moves them closer to what they want, which is pleasure, or farther away from the pain. Right? That's why you buy whatever you buy. Correct? If you have a headache, you buy it to get rid of the pain, right? Right? If you want more pleasure, then maybe you watch a movie, right? A great movie or something like that. That's what you do. Cash flows to those who are able to solve people's pressing problems. Remember that. Paste this up somewhere. You see it all the time, because this is the key to unlimited wealth. Right? There are a lot of ways to go about creating wealth, but this is the best way for the average person with little or no skills to create wealth, which is why for the average person there's no better way to create wealth than to build a Primerica business. Let's face it, right? Because the problems are abundant. And it's also the only one that's guaranteed to succeed. It's worth repeating again. It's cash flows to those able to solve people's pressing problems. You see, if you're broke and you're not making enough money, there's only 2 reasons, all right? 1, you're not solving enough problems for people, or 2, the problems you're solving are too small. Okay, let me repeat that. If you're broke, there's 2 reasons. 1, you're not solving enough problems for people, or 2, the problems that you're solving are too small. So like right now, you got a base shop. So if you're doing 5 or 10,000 in your base shop, guess what you're not doing? You're not solving very many problems for very many people. Right. Guess what? You don't make very much money. Right. But all of a sudden, you have a $100,000 base shop, like Cornegay's do, right? Are they solving more problems than you're solving? Yep. Yeah. Guess what they make then? More money. Pretty complicated, huh? Okay, so don't just ask the universe or God for more money. Ask to solve more or bigger problems for others. The money automatically flows to you. If you do this, guess what? Your pockets are going to start bulging. They're going to burst. Because the people who solve problems are money magnets, they can't stop it from coming. They couldn't stop it if they wanted to, right? They'll die and the money will still keep coming. I just watched this Elvis Presley bio thing. Anybody watch that or saw that that was on TV this last week, right? I watched it. It was actually pretty good. You know, they had to hire a guy from Ireland to play Elvis. Is that incredible? And what Elvis did is he solved an entertainment problem. People like to be entertained with music, don't we? We all do, okay? So he solved that problem. When he died, Elvis was worth $5 million. I don't know if you guys knew that, okay? Today, his estate, I think they sold it recently, right? But his estate, his name, right, in the licensing agreements and all that, is probably right around $200 million or more now. When he died, he was $5 million net worth. Today, it's over about $200 million. See, that's what happens. Guess what? If I died right now, would my business go away? No, it wouldn't. It would keep on, money would just keep coming to my family, right? For a long time. Remember, money flows to those who solve problems for other people. Do an inventory of your business. I want you to identify what problems you currently solve for people. Not problems you think you're solving, but problems you really are solving for people. You need to be honest here. This exercise is a waste of time. Identify the problems you're solving for other people. Look at the amount of money you're making, whether you have a business or you work for somebody else. Ask yourself this question: am I solving problems for my clients and recruits? If you work for somebody else, ask the question, can I eat? This is a really important question. This isn't a question you ought to ask your potential recruits, all right? This is a great question. If you work for somebody else, ask yourself this question: can you easily be replaced? Can they get rid of you and get another person to fill your spot easily? Yes. Okay. Because if you can be easily replaced, it means you have very little value to your company as a problem solver. If they can replace you easily, it means you offer very little value in relation to solving problems for people. That's why you can be replaced easily. That's why people that have more skills and bring more to the table, it's hard to get rid of those people because they can't, right? It's hard to get rid of them. Okay. However, if you will find and solve problems for the company you work for, then you're going to put yourself in a position where you cannot easily be replaced or you're overqualified. In that case, your employer will celebrate you with raises, promotions, and recognition. And if they're not, somebody else will hire you. Right? So take a look at your income. Are the problems you're solving small? Then more than likely you have a small income. Or are the problems you're solving big, but you're just not solving enough big problems? For you guys here that aren't making a lot of money, you're solving big problems, you're just not solving enough of them. That's all. And that's not bad. That doesn't mean you're bad or you're no good. It just means you're not focused on solving enough problems. That's all. That's all it means, okay? So again, the size of the problem you solve will impact the amount of wealth that you can build. So you need to understand supply and demand. Where there is a huge demand and a small supply, the price of the supply goes up, right? Right? Why is gas going up? Because it's not true, but they're making it seem like there's the supply shrinking, so gas prices go up, but it's not really shrinking. Kind of like diamonds, right? I was in the jewelry business, right? De Beers, who controls the diamond market, right, worldwide, there's plenty of diamonds, but they artificially keep the supply at a certain level so that they can keep the prices high. You guys know that? Right? They're not really worth that. It's all arbitrary. Okay? In Primerica, there's a huge, gigantic demand for great leaders who can recruit, build, and train a competent sales force. But there is a microscopically small amount of these great leaders. Have you noticed that? I mean, there's 150,000 reps, and there's 50 or 60 people that make $1 million. There are not very many of those people, right? Okay? If you decide to become one of these great leaders, incredible wealth and unparalleled freedom is in your future. So look, what you've got to see is, look, make a decision to be one of those leaders. Make a decision, Kurt, to be one of those people. Okay? Mike, make a decision to be one of those people. Be one of those great leaders. If you do, money will follow you like you couldn't even keep it away if you wanted to. Okay? When you focus on solving problems, you become a money magnet. Simple, and it's also something that prosperity and abundance courses never tell you. After you create a prosperity consciousness, you have to turn that prosperity consciousness into dollars by offering solutions to people's pressing problems. That's how you turn your consciousness into wealth, and anyone can do it. Now, find out where people are experiencing pain and be a healer. Be a solution provider, and guess what? The money is going to flow to you. Trust me. Look, you have a base shop right now. You have a bunch of people in your base. How many of you have a base shop with more than 5 people? Okay, so a lot of you, most of you, all right? So if you will, now you have your teammates, right, that are part of your base shop. I was talking to one of my RVPs this morning. I said, look, you are amazing at the business. I mean, you are as good as anybody in my hierarchy. Better than most, okay, across the kitchen table. But you kind of suck at teaching people right now, all right? So ask yourself this question. What if you made sure that the people that were motivated, right, that were showing up to meetings and trying to learn the business, what if you made sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you made sure that they could close, that they could ask questions, that they could present, that they could set up appointments, that they could do everything just like you? What would happen to your business? Woo! Yeah, but guess what? You guys don't spend enough time doing that. You think if they come to a meeting, they're going to get it. That's not how it works, right? If you spend more energy, I said, look, you ought to spend every available moment. He goes, well, I don't know how much time you should spend on that. As much as you possibly can. Every minute you should be trying to train and develop somebody to get them to be as competent as you. Man, if you could do that, you know why people don't do it? They're just, either they don't get it or they're lazy. Right? But once you get somebody trained, I told them, I said, look, have you noticed how repetitive I am? And I'm always telling you the same thing over and over and over again, right? You know why I do that? Because you haven't gotten it yet. When you get it, when you start thinking like me and behaving like me, my job's over. I can go on my next project, right? But I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let up on you till you get it. Right. That means I got to tell you 10 times or 50 or 100 or 200. I don't care. Because when you get it, you get it. Kurt's going, yeah. I've been telling you the same damn thing for 10 years plus now, haven't I? Huh? Right, so and he is getting it. You're a lot better, okay? Not where you could be, but you're better, right? And you're moving in the right direction, all right? But have I stopped saying the same thing to you? No, never, right? Over and over and over again. The key to my success, if there's a genius, is I never get tired repeating myself. I don't. I just do it over and over. I'm saying the same thing today to you that I've been saying to you for every week for 21 years, right? And you know what? Some of you are further along than you were before. And I don't really care where you are because I'm going to keep on putting it out there. And if you don't get it now, maybe you'll get it later. If you don't get it at all, then somebody else will fill your chair and that person might get it. What do I care? You with me? Right. I don't take it personally that you don't do what you're supposed to do. Right. That's your life. I have my life. I've created my life. I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about sharing it, right? Okay. This is how it works. So the number one reason why people will pay you cash right now with a smile, willingly begging you to take their money, is because you can solve their most immediate and pressing problems, which is the pain they're experiencing right now or the pleasure they want to move closest to as fast as possible, and that's how cash flows. So if you sit down with a client, right, and they're not saving enough money, they're not living in the home they want to live in, they want more out of life, and you can get them, Gary, to believe that you're the guy that's going to help them get that if they follow you and they work with you, that you are definitely going to get them what they really, really want. There is no way they're not going to join your business and follow you. Okay? They will. All right, and you don't need much money to do this. Look, $190 in Primerica. Come on, that's like free. $200 to start a business? It's ridiculous. People say, well, what do you do when they don't have the money? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? You're asking me that stupid question? Get them on 3 or 4 appointments and go make them the money. Right? Go take them in the field. Right? If they don't have money, stop right there and say, look, who do you know that trusts you and likes you enough that if you called them right now, they would meet with you and me for 25, 30, 40 minutes? Get on the phone, call them up and tell them you got something you got to share with them, you got to meet with them because this is incredible. You've never seen anything like this. When can I see you? And then you take me over there and I'll go close their behinds on being a client and getting started and doing this, okay? And I'll make you the money. Don't you worry about money. Money's easy to make, right? You just need people to introduce you to people, right? The world is full of problems and people are begging and praying for solutions. That's a way to get people to give you money. So here's a secret. Don't beg and plead or ask God for more money. Ask for problems to solve because that's the easiest way to ensure a constant and consistent cash flow into your life now and forever. Okay? Tell God that you're ready to solve people's pressing problems and then ask that the solutions be revealed to you. Then ask for a way to communicate the solution. You've got that already. You've already had that. He's already delivered that to you, okay? You have all this with your primeric opportunity. Now, all you have to do is ask, then go to work solving as many problems as you can. The way to solve more problems to earn more cash flow is to recruit, train, and develop a competent team committed to solving people's pressing problems. There's no way you can fail to grow your cash flow if you focus your energy on solving problems for people. Not only can you make a good living, but you can become extremely wealthy in the process, okay? You have the secret now. Now go be the solution, all right? Go be the solution. That's all there is for this talk. I mean, hopefully that helped you a little bit. You got to see what it is that you need to do.